Hello.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, you too. I'm excited. Let's see what your body does today. Okay, so lay down.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how to go into the yoga rest position, right? Perfect. Just lay there and relax for a minute, Shauna. Okay, Shauna, go ahead and pick your pelvis up off the floor. Okay, go ahead and set your pelvis down. Let your knees rest open again. Now just slide your feet slightly further away from your pelvic floor. Perfect, right there. Now, you're not going to close your knees, but you're going to put a little bit of pressure on your inner thigh as though you were going to close them. Right there. That's perfect. Because for people like you who already have a lot of access to your energy flow, it takes very little to start activating movement in you. So take a deep breath and let out a sigh. Good. Now you see there's been a little bit of a breakthrough there. You feel how the movement got stronger. So that tells me that small, delicate tremor started to release some of the myofascial patterns, so it allows stronger movement. So go ahead and close your knees again, a tiny little bit. Take another deep breath and let out a sigh. And there's another movement there. Okay, so you can feel how your body's orchestrating its own release here. That's perfect. Close your knees a little more. There it goes. Now it moved into your hips, okay? That's perfect. And once it's in the sacrum, you can feel how it tries to push itself up your spine, just like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to try to follow the spinal column up to the neck. So you can close your knees a little more because now you've opened a big energy field here. Easy movement. So Shanna, now you can actually turn the bottoms of your feet so they're flat onto the floor, about 4 inches apart. Now open your knees a little wider. That's it right there. And just hang out there now. Just follow its flow because it's going to move up and down your body from your legs into your hips into your torso. You just let it move you. Can you feel it's trying to move your hips?
Yeah.
See, trying to move them left and right.
Feels like my body's being longer.
Well, it is actually just the smallest little movement in the vertebrae, a little bit of a release, actually gives the sensation of you're getting taller. So that tells me that that lumbar region is starting to relax a little bit. And so your body gets a sensation, oh, the spine is elongating, which it is. Now there's a great example of the pelvic girdle connecting up to the neck. So it's a cranial sacral move. And it's going to go into your shoulders. It has to do that. See? There you go. And notice how your hip is moving to the left more strongly.
Yeah.
All right, so that tells me there's an imbalance between left and right side. So it's going to try to correct that. And now you can see it's twisting your vertebrae further up the spine now.
It's amazing.
Okay, so your shoulders are still a little slightly locked, so we're going to help those out a little bit. Take your shoulders and pull them towards the front of your body. Using your pec, keep your arms on the ground, that's it, just the shoulders, that's it. And release them, let them drop. Do that 5 times. See how it's released your hips a whole lot more right there.
Yeah.
See, pelvic girdle and shoulder girdle are always directly connected. There we go, there's your shoulder released. Good for you. And your shoulders are moving differently. See how your left shoulder is moving different from your right?
Yeah.
And your left arm is different. So it tells me again, there's a left-right split. When you let out your breath, let it out with a sigh, because it'll respond to the focus.
Ah.
That's it. Let your arms come back to life here. Good, we'll let that play. There you go. All right, so that played itself out beautifully. So now we're going to try to help the left and right sides here. So slide your right leg flat onto the floor. That's it. Just relax for a minute. And move that left knee either slightly outward or slightly inward to see if you can find the shaking mechanism. Do it nice and slow and be patient. There you go. So now we're going to just let that shake, but we have a different fascia pattern here. So we're going to let it release a different pattern. And see how it's going further down your leg? It's going down your knee in the extended leg.
Yeah. I can feel my hip letting go.
That was perfect because that was the release of your diaphragm moving itself. This is all your dancing career in there.
I know, right?
It's all coming out. Perfect. Okay, look at all that tension it got out there.
Wow.
Okay, and look how it calms down then. So now bring your right knee up and slide your left one down. We'll give that one a chance. This one immediately went down into your legs. Because remember, the left leg and right leg are going to try to rebalance themselves so they can work in a synchronized fashion again. Yes, because although they have the same muscle groups, they have different tension patterns in each leg. You still okay there?
Yeah.
Well, this is going further into your hip now.
Yeah, I can feel it elongating.
Yeah. Mhm.
What makes it like change patterns? You can feel it.
Just think of the fascia in the body and the muscle groups. Once a fascia pattern releases or stretches out, then the tremor mechanism moves a different way. And that happens through hundreds of different muscle patterns and fascia patterns in the body.
So interesting.
That's why it's so nice that it can do it by itself, because you would never know which fascia pattern needs to release next.
No. Never.
And see, in the body, it's not like it has wisdom, but it can only follow the tissue. So if the tissue's blocked, it responds in sort of a blocked pattern. Once that loosens up, then you can feel it flow through there. You see, this is releasing a lot more in your hip on your left side than your right leg did.
Yeah. Which I've had problems with my left side, so.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it's evident here. See, that movement is kind of like frustrated. You could feel it, trying to figure out how to get through something.
Yeah.
Why don't you slide your right leg down as well?
Okay.
Yeah, and let's see if they can synchronize a bit here. You can see the two different movements. The right leg is more in the knee and the left leg is more in the hip.
Yeah. You can feel it. See, I can really feel my left hip.
Mm-hmm. Well, that seemed to have satisfied them. Good for you. Take a deep breath. The body found this place of finally peaceful because it was able to work out a frustrating tension pattern in your body.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah. It was really quite beautiful because you could see why I call it a living organism. It's pulsating itself into release. I can't call it a brain or a body. That's too insignificant. It is an organism that's pulsating with aliveness.
That was an amazing experience.
Can you describe a little bit about it?
Yeah, so there's a feeling of like you're not sure if you're controlling it or not at the beginning, and then something
just completely takes over. Like, and it's an interesting concept because you're completely conscious. I mean, we're having conversation, but your body is just working it out. And in regards to the legs, it was an entirely different experience on my right leg than on my left leg. Like, just entirely, the movements were different. Like you said, the frustration with the left leg, like it felt that way. Like the movement was telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, that was incredible how they just kind of did their thing. And then I think people would ask like, well, where do you stop? And it just stops. Like it runs its course, right?
Right, right. Well, once it releases the tension pattern that it's been trying to struggle to get out of, then it sort of peacefully calms down. Now, we could have activated it again and it would have started in a whole new pattern. But when it calms down naturally like that, I like to give it time to integrate. To me, that was the ending of a beautiful massage in your body. And it's like, okay, don't go deeper because the body wants to integrate the tissue that has already released. Let it have that pleasure of releasing that and integrating it.
Now, over time, like if you're doing this daily, is there less movement over time or different patterns? Like what's to be expected? Let's say if you're doing this practice every day.
Yeah, only for really fit people do I recommend it every day. But to answer the question is that once you've released one tension pattern, there are multiple layers of tension. So we may go down another layer, but now the layer above it is open. And so the layer below can release and it can integrate more easily into the layer above. So you can get all these varieties of fast movements, slow movements, fascia stretching, rapid vibration, or frantic vibration. Then you could get this slow melodic feeling. Sometimes people can feel it. Their pelvis actually moves in a figure 8 and they can feel this amazing pleasure. So it's like we're all layered with multiple experiences of trauma in our life, even from something like dancing, which we wouldn't consider a trauma, but it's training the body to behave in a certain pattern. And oftentimes going against its normal muscle patterns. Okay, we're training it to do something just like athletes do.
Absolutely.
And so that training becomes a trauma to the organism because it's saying, well, that's not how I'm designed to move.
Yeah.
And so it gets all of that out and it moves from left to right and bottom to top and does your shoulders the way you helped your shoulders release like that. That was beautiful. And then it goes down your arms and you got that rapid movement in your arms. And for me, it's always like an excited little baby getting the chance to move itself. See, that's what it looks like. This wonderful pulsating little baby gets a chance to move. And so it starts moving itself however it can.
That's so cool. And so how often would you recommend it for people that are just starting out?
We generally recommend that they do it either 2 or 3 times a week, only about 15 minutes. And that's because we want them to do them at a minimum. If they feel they can build above that, meaning longer or more days, then I let them do that. But what I don't want them to do is just dive into this, not knowing what they're doing, and then they simply overwhelm themselves. Because you could see that was a lot. I mean, some people, if they had got what you got, if they weren't as integrated as you are, they could have found that frightening or dissociating or flooded with emotions. But that's why I kept talking to you. You stayed, you were integrated, we were co-regulating, you were quite fine. So I know this wasn't any deep old childhood trauma or anything like that. So when people are first experiencing these tremor mechanisms, they can be remarkably delicate and remarkably powerful at the same time.
Sure, of course. Well, thank you. This was the most wonderful experience. I mean, to be led by you, I'm honored, and this was just incredible, incredible.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you. I enjoyed watching it because I always still learn. You know, I have to hone in. So when I saw your right knee and your left hip, I thought, look how beautiful that's trying to negotiate 2 different places. And most people wouldn't see it, but it was just It was beautiful. Again, I can only see this pulsating organism struggling really hard in a beautiful way to come more back to life.
Thank you. And you know, you just verbalizing what you were seeing, like, helped me with what I was experiencing too. And you were just right there and right on with everything that you were witnessing. I mean, obviously, you know the body so well, but just helping people, you know, go through their own process too, and kind of conceptualize what's going on. But I will like really like sit with this and be with this, and it's incredible. And like I said, I'm committing to showing up to this a few times a week. So
Yeah, you definitely should, because it's already, your body has already indicated it loves it. It knows how to use the mechanism. It's working, and all it's doing is moving you slowly and slowly into this sort of really relaxed internal sense of self, which is the place, the only place that we could ever experience peace. It's got to be inside. It doesn't come externally. It comes from an inner sense of I can feel me inside, and I feel me pulsating, and that feels good. Then I'm calm.
yes, I love that. Thank you so much.